It's Friday, November 12th, and this is Den Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. I'm Dennis, and I'll be your host as we explore the latest Marvel happenings across all media, as well as the occasional off-brand superpowered story. And when I say we, I'm of course referring to my distinguished collection of nerd co-hosts. First up, let's get them out here so I'm not here by myself anymore. He's getting free months of Guardians of the Galaxy, he's getting free months of Disney Plus for playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm not. It's Frank.
You're not getting the free months?
I checked my inbox. What do I got to do? I didn't get anything.
I didn't ask for these powers. It just came to me.
I guess I'll go play the game tomorrow and see if that works, or maybe I'll play it today, like really quick before it's midnight or something.
Yeah.
They're just handing out Disney Plus months. Like
I know they're crazy. Cool. Are they low on membership or something like that? Is Disney running out of money? Do we have to?
I don't think they are. I think I read some statistic a few months ago that said like by 2023 they will have passed Netflix or something like that.
Oh wow.
They're not hurting at all. But anyways, let's get more people out here to speculate on Disney Plus. Actually, this next person we have, I know it's not quite Disney Plus that's got him interested right now. He hasn't had enough No Way Home spoilers. So if there are more, please give them to him. It's Ricky.
I will find them all and consume them before that movie comes out.
And by find them all, you mean you just go on Reddit?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, I pretty much know the plot of that movie and the inevitable sequel already at this point, thanks to Sony's security.
I have nothing to say about that.
No comment.
Yeah.
Comment. Another week we're here all together.
Yes. And speaking of No Way Home, we had an assignment this week in preparation for No Way Home, and our special guest that we have, I'm so appreciative for him doing the rigorous assignment with us. It's Clarke.
I watched movies.
You watched movies, but you watched like almost 5 hours worth of movies this week just to
that's above and beyond. That's like
the Amazing Spider-Man.
It was a lot. Normally we ask people to watch like a 45-minute Disney Plus show and then come on the show.
And I say, just say no to spoilers.
We made Clarke watch a movie.
No, we made Clarke watch 2 movies. Wait, you watched 2 movies also, right, Ricky?
Yeah.
Just to be sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You just forgot about the first one.
Yeah, I rewatched them both.
Yes. And just so you know, we'll get some formalities out of the way, but Clarke is referring to the movies that we've chosen to spotlight tonight, which are the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man movies. So we will be talking about those later on the show. But before we do that, we will have some nerd news and rumors to discuss. Promise not to let Ricky spoil stuff. And then for those of you joining us live, which I already see some people showing up, don't be shy. We'll be checking the comments regularly. And for those of you that can't get enough of us, you should check out patreon.com/genxmedia, where you'll find a variety of creative offerings, including early access to our live after show, The Soapbox. Patrons get exclusive access to chat with us there. But if that's not your thing, or you're just not available tonight, don't worry. We'll be releasing it to the public next Wednesday, so you can watch it, recorded and stuff. But now that's all out of the way. Clarke, thank you for rejoining us on this show.
It is my pleasure.
I kind of like to pick the nerdiest ones to have you on, like the ones where like the assignment is super nerdy.
Yes.
And so
Clarke's our expert testimony.
Yeah. Like there's I was telling Frank and Ricky last week, that I'm back in binging RuPaul's Drag Race again because I just love that show. But I've noticed there's a funny thing. Like he likes to get lots of different, celebrity guests on the show, but every now and then he's got like a handful of like a stable of like guests that he can count on to always be there for like the important shows where like there's a lot of content and there's not a lot of, fluff and stuff. And I was noticing this one person, and I was like, that's my Clarke. That's like that's my Clarke right there. You're my Todrick Hall.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's every season he's there. He's their choreographer, and he's there to help judge for all the choreography stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, you're definitely one of our big Spider-Man nerds, aside from Frank and I. And yeah,
whoa.
I mean, if you want to, like, you can tell us. I think you've told us before what Marvel means to you, but like, do you want to tell us specifically about Spider-Man and your relationship with him?
Sure. I said before, kind of like Spider-Man got me really into collecting comics, and that was the Eric Larson's run on Spider-Man when he was doing the Return Revenge of the Sinister Six, and it had a cover of Spider-Man with this fake with Deathlock and this metallic arm, and just caught my eye, and I'm like, and it was right in the middle of the series, so of course I had to go and find the beginning of it and then follow the end.
Frank is the toy and arms linked.
No, I just realized it was in the other room. Yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
Mine's
I know
mine's locked in this closet over here. I can't get to it either.
It's a cool example.
So like, as someone who has never bought a comic book in a comic book store, like back in the day, if you, like Clarke said, came in the middle of a run, like how did you just track that shit down? Like you were just
had to go to a comic book store, and they had the back issues behind the current ones.
Also, at that time, Marvel used to be like, hey, Captain America fought Red Skull back in issue something. So it would kind of tell you where to go.
Like a lead in.
Let me be really old. This is before the internet.
Yeah, this is before the internet.
So
to be fair, they still do it now, but they have it like with a QR code.
Yeah.
Where you can click it and then go see a whole video they prepared to let you know.
I mean, I love Marvel Unlimited. Like it'll tell you should read this and this.
Yeah.
Before this.
Now I just read Marvel Unlimited, which we
was,
should do a commercial for. But
what's kind of funny, I think it was during when we were watching WandaVision, I fell into like a rabbit hole of doing that. I said that whenever I came across the editor's note that referenced another book, I would stop everything with that book and go back to the book that was referenced, and then I would stop. So I ended up from like a 2014 series or something like that, I ended up way back in like 1964 or something. Like
they used to love like Jim Saltrup would love putting those little notes in.
Yeah, it was like Noteception at one point, because there was one time where I got past one of the notes, and then there was another note waiting for me, so I had to go back, and I ended up like on Avengers 1 or something like that.
Something though that I think that I thought about again, this character and watching these movies, and this is something that Dennis and I that we've talked about Spider-Man, things that Dennis is that it just reminded me, just kind of like, even though he's the quippy, he's one of the big mouths of the Marvel universe, it's a really sad character. Like the things that happen to this guy is he just gets beat down. And that's what a lot of people relate to him. Yeah. So asking why you like Spider-Man is because he never gives up, and that will. And I think a lot of people relate to him that way as a role model. And I think that's definitely something. I always liked it because he was the high school nerd, but seeing more so that goes and seeing those examples. I'll never forget the 2 splash page in House of M, where the mutant who gives everybody their memory back, and she lives Peter Parker's life all in 1 second, and just goes, "Oh, that poor man." And it's like just double splash page of all of Peter Parker's life, and you're just like, dang. So we'll get back a little more into these, because these 2 movies, I think they're sad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They are. Before we
that's
before we
kind
get
of
no,
into
also,
sorry, that's a little preview for later tonight.
that's kind of also my gripe with the Tom Holland ones, because man, they got to punish that guy. I want to see him get punished, because like these Spider-Men get punished.
See, this is where we're gonna have the
Pretty
fun
hard.
discussion, because I'm like, that's
Tom
one of the
Holland's
things
still
that I
a
feel
Spider boy,
relieved.
though.
But yeah, but
He's
I
not
think
a man yet.
this
They're-
next one he's
they're
gonna
all
be
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, they're all like 30-year-old
that's the charm. That's the charm of Spider-Man
Yeah.
is he chose to call himself Spider-Man even though he was a 15-year-old boy.
Spider-Man, Spider-Kid.
He didn't want to go with Spider-Boy. But
Spiderling.
anyways, that's enough for right now. That's
Yes.
an appetizer for later.
So tasty.
But I think Ricky, you got some news. I didn't vet it. I'm kind of worried. Normally I
should've.
vet it a little bit. Yeah. So
But
but I'm also excited because I have no idea what you're going to show me.
ready?
Exciting time right now.
Alrighty, this is the news for the week of November 12th. I already messed it up.
Do you need some caffeine?
A little bit. I got some stuff in front of me.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted, before we get into the news, I kind of want to do a little bit of little reminiscing on the old Mr. Stan Lee. It's been 3 years from the day that he has left us, and obviously we all have a great deal of respect for Mr. Lee, as we named this show due in part to him. So I was just kind of curious if you guys had any Stan Lee moments or Stan Lee memories or Stan Lee factoids that kind of just stuck with you throughout the years. A little bit of sharing moment before getting the news.
Interesting. So you're just hijacking the news, huh? No.
I mean,
Clarke, go for it.
I've been blessed to meet him twice. Once with you, so I'll let you tell that story. Another time, I won a raffle and got him to sign a Spider-Man from Greg Horn that I have framed up in my house, and always just so nice to the people. He always would want to meet his fans and such, and it was I think he, as he got older, it got more difficult and stuff. But I was really glad that we were able to meet him still when he could have conversations and stuff. And he always, it was so cool to see him at first when he did Kamikaze, but at San Diego Comic-Con and Excelsior, and just everybody's got great stories about him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was doing the whole concert circuit up until the last day. Like, he was out there as best as he could be, just being amongst the people.
Yeah. Well, I can honestly say, like, he didn't miss much since then, though.
Yeah, the world's been a little different since he left.
He didn't. I mean, it's possible did he start the plague? I don't know. No, I'm not spreading that rumor. Frank,
You heard it here, folks.
Frank, do you have any special moments or no?
I never actually met him, so it was him and Jim Lee. I would always carry my comic books. I carried a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 50, and I carried I think it was the X-Men, the worthless X-Men comic books from the 90s. And I would carry the first, like, maybe I think it was like 4 or 5 covers of that one. So it was in case I bumped into Jim Lee or Stan, one of the Lees, one of those 2 Lee brothers, Jim Lee or Stan Lee. And I finally met up with Jim Lee, and I got him to sign my covers. And for several years, for probably about, I want to say 20 years, I carried around my Amazing Spider-Man number 50 and never met the damn guy. And I'm
like every day or like at conventions?
Not every. I didn't wear it on a chain like Post Malone or something. No, I carried it in my backpack every day of the convention.
Yeah.
I would just have it just in case, like, I happen to, bump into him or whatever. I even had extra Sharpies just in case he didn't happen to have
I
one.
gotta see him.
Like if we were in the can, he's all like, "Whoa, I like what you're working with there, Frank," and I'm all like, "Oh, cool, yeah, thanks, Stan Lee, I appreciate it." Would you mind signing this? Yeah, but never met him.
My story is not super awesome because it was from a time where I wasn't wise enough to carry my comics with me at conventions. I think it was one of my first few years there, and I think Clarke and I were just getting out of a panel in Comic-Con in San Diego, and on the second floor. And so when they exit you out of the rooms on the second floor, you exit into like these halls that are mostly empty. And I think we left early.
Mm-hmm.
I think we left a panel early, and Stan Lee was just there with like his assistant or something like that, and they were, I guess, getting ready for some other panel
to go into the next panel. Yeah, in the other room.
And I was just like, "Oh, it's Stan Lee," and I don't even remember, if I was even capable of articulating much other than gushing over him. But I did ask him to sign my sketchbook, so I have a white piece of paper with Stan Lee's name on it.
So do I.
Yeah, because that's all I had on me at the time.
That's pretty darn cool.
And he did say, "I'm not supposed to do this," but and then he signed our sketchbooks. I remember that.
Yeah,
I give you a wink.
He did.
I'm glad I have you here to help me remember that.
That's right.
Tousled your hair a little bit. Get out of here.
Okay, he didn't do that.
No,
now get out of here, you little.
He's not a toucher for sure. He didn't touch me. He's not. That's a different show. It's a different show. But yeah, no, I definitely appreciate everything that he's given us, and I think one of my favorite things about him is how much he loved engaging with the fans, not just at conventions, but also in the letter section of his comics, which were called the Soapbox. Which, if you'd notice, I just lift everything off of him. So that's the kind of the vibe that we try to achieve with our Patreon show, is just like, let's just hang out and just talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about, because that's what the Soapbox was for Stan Lee. Sometimes he had specific things he wanted to address, but he really just wanted to hear from his fans and engage with them. And
he was definitely ahead of his time in terms of a lot of the topics he would touch upon in his little sections. Equal rights.
Yeah, he was a progressive
inclusiveness,
thinker,
like he was
for sure. Yeah,
definitely pushing that envelope forward. I never met him, but I always would see him at cons, and when I would go for the first couple of years, like there's Stan Lee. I got bigger celebrities to go see, because he was just a mainstay. But as the years go on, and really seeing his like interactions with the people, because like I would be literally like the booth over, and seeing him interacting with his fans, and it was never like he always conversed with people from what I saw. Like he always tried to make at least some form of small talk to make that minute of interaction memorable to them. And you don't see that a lot at a Comic-Con. It's usually just a hi and a bye, but he cared. He really did care, and it showed. So
yeah.
All right, moving on.
Back to news.
The big
There's
news.
a lot of news today.
Yeah, we got a lot of news today.
I feel like Ricky had this section. He's like, need filler, and then that's
no, Stan's never filler.
Okay.
No. All right.
Do it. Lay some news on us.
Disney Plus Day Marvel announcements. Oh boy.
There you go.
We
Somebody did appreciate it, by the way.
Thank you. We had a pretty big day. Today was Disney Plus Day. And as part of that, Disney released a different little short clips on Disney Plus, kind of highlighting the different properties and what's coming up next on the platform. And we got some big stuff. Of the new stuff that was announced, we're getting an X-Men 97, which is a continuation of the X-Men show from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting an Echo show, a Spider-Man animated series, which according to Variety is actually going to be an MCU series. So probably going to be most likely the retelling of that Peter's origins, which is kind of cool. We haven't seen that in MCU.
But was he a freshman when he...
He might have been a freshman, but I mean, they could take it in different ways. Like it could
fine.
be.
It's fine. I'll let it go. I don't care. I'm not going to nitpick that. It's cool.
The other little new thing we got was the Marvel Zombies show that's coming out next year. Of course, What If 2. We also got some first looks at their upcoming properties like She-Hulk's calves and arms. Another little peek at Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
And of course, Miss Marvel. But anything kind of catch your eye, strike your fancy?
You know what I will say, I thought it was too long, the video, but it did remind me of the videos they would produce for Comic-Con. Like, you know, it like Marvel can't stop making those Comic-Con videos, even though there's no Comic-Con to make them for. I don't remember them being 14-minute videos though at Comic-Con. I could be wrong.
They were kind of long. So for what Dennis is referencing, the video that they put out was 14 minutes long. Half of that was stuff from the past year. Half of that half was look forward to the stuff that's already been announced, like Hawkeye. And then the last little tiny bit was this kind of new little pieces, basically.
I like C Cow Soda's question here, or Lindsay's question. Oh, she's not on a C Cow Soda today. Threw me off.
She's showing her true face.
It's her real name.
What do you guys think? Like, have you noticed that there's a lot more disabled representation going on? Like, I got hints that Hawkeye is definitely at least partially deaf in that trailer.
Yeah, didn't he have the headset? What are they called? Hearing aid.
Yeah. And then
headset. I'm a fool.
Yeah.
Well, and we know Echo is deaf.
Is blind. He's completely blind.
Echo
they didn't show him.
No, Echo's deaf.
Echo's a dolphin.
Yes.
I agree. Yes, you're thinking of that. And then we got Makari in the Eternals.
Yeah, Moon Knight.
And Moon Knight definitely has some mental
mental issues.
The Moon Knight one is like a tightrope, I feel like, because you can definitely go like as much as I like the movie Split, you know, kind of like people who have split personality disorder are automatically murderers, you know, type of vibes. So I feel like you got to kind of play a nice.
But if they pull it off, which I think
they pull it off, it'll work well.
Yeah.
But it is part of that character story too.
Mm-hmm. And so to answer the question directly, I'm very excited because we were kind of talking about this when we were just talking about Eternals. It's neat to see Marvel now really spreading out and then taking the time and giving these characters, you know, a real, not just a cameo appearance, but you know, their own full show, and then having time to develop because it's a Disney Plus show, and I think that it's great, and I think that Disney and Marvel have struck the balance between the storytelling and bringing more representation and having you know, and having the characters evolve and have challenges, because you know, like Hawkeye going deaf, you know, that's new, that's different, and then it definitely, I can't wait for Echo. That's always been a really great character, and I wish they would have shown a little bit of it, but that series is going to be great.
You know, it was something funny that I mentioned to Lindsay last week when I was telling her about the Eternals, and this is not really spoiling anything for Frank, but you know, Makari is a deaf character in the movie. She speaks a type of sign language. I don't believe it was ASL. I believe it was just Eternals sign language.
ESL.
ESL.
Yeah, sure. But when I described her to Lindsay, I never used this term, but I referred to her as differently abled. Normally, I'm fine with just saying somebody's disabled, because usually that means, you know, like there's something they can't do that possibly is making it something harder for them, you know, like to experience. But the funny thing about her character in that movie is I felt it was wrong to call her that, because one, she had no problem communicating with any of the people that mattered to her, because they all took the time to learn, you know, how to communicate with her. And two, she was never put in a situation in that movie where her deafness hindered her from anything. And that's that's like I like the movie Eyes. What is it?
Eyes Wide Shut.
I was gonna say Eyes Wide Shut, but that's not what I meant to say.
I like that movie too. You're right. You're right to like.
I meant to say. What's the horror movie with
the silent one? The
Quiet Place. Quiet Place.
Silent Hill.
Quiet Place.
I like the Quiet Place. A Quiet Place, but I really don't like the gimmick that they leaned on at the end of the movie, where like the only reason they can win is because they like take her hearing aid and like reverse engineer it to like explode aliens' heads. I'm like, okay, fine. It's the disability that wins, because like it's a little much. It's a little too far. Like I like seeing characters just be who they are and not be defined by that quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a really cool thing about it. And I think it's going to be a cool thing for Hawkeye too, because we know Hawkeye. We've known him for years. Like I mean, he was at my Thanksgiving a few years ago. Like it's no, but you know what I mean. Like he's a character we're familiar with. Yeah. So like it's going to be a weird, cool ease into that situation where we're now going to feel for him, because like that there is something to say about somebody who goes deaf later in life versus born with it. They experience that disability in a different way, so it's a cool thing to have that representation. Can somebody help me answer this question though, because I'm not sure who she's talking about. The actress is also deaf and has a prosthetic leg. Who is she referring to?
Aloqua Cox. I can't.
Or are we talking about Echo?
Yeah.
Well, she does.
I think she is. Is she? I'm pretty sure, right?
I don't know, but that's cool.
That would be interesting because she's so physical.
Is that Echo character show? Can you do an Echo show without Daredevil?
Like your tone. I don't like your tone, Clarke.
Understandable.
Can you do an Echo show without Daredevil? I'm fairly certain they're not. From the rumors I've heard, is Daredevil is in that show. So I'll answer your question. No.
No.
No, definitive no.
Yeah.
No, Clarke touched on it. The representation. I mean, you're getting with the majority of the superheroes that are getting shows are all people of color.
All right. So Lindsay is also adding she's also indigenous. You know what? That was a bridge too far, Lindsay. That's too many check boxes.
Now it's pandering. Now it's straight pandering.
Now I'm just.
I don't know how they can take a character named Maya Rudolph and stick her in that box.
That's the SNL.
I know.
Person. You mean Maya Lopez?
Maya Lopez.
Wow, Clarke.
Totally messed that one up.
Yeah,
she's the hormonist, the hormone monster. Hormone monstrous.
I got the Maya right.
But no, I believe she is indigenous in the comics too. Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Sorry. What were you adding to that, Ricky? I got lost.
I
got lost in Maya Rudolph.
Most of the new characters are people of color, and that's cool. That are getting shows. So nice little mix. Last but not least, while we're on the Spider-Man fix,
don't worry, I'm still sure white people will be represented.
Yeah, white people will find their way in those shows somehow.
You heard it here,
but we gotta,
folks. No reason to be worried.
Speaking of a white person, we got our first look at Spider-Man in Marvel's Avengers.
Oh my goodness.
The news came out that his DLC is coming, and we finally got our first look at him. And that looks like a Spider-Man.
Yeah, that reveal was definitely not lackluster. And I was definitely very excited for it. I was level 10 excited, I guess. Thank you, Marvel, for that money that you sent me.
That reveal was stupid. I hate it. Like I was so mad at it. I was just like, get this out of my face.
Was that the voice of the PS4
suit.
Spider-Man?
No, that was not Yuri Lowenthal.
It
was not.
That was not?
That guy sucked. Whoever he was, I don't want to hear more of him. Like, give me a paid DLC where I can change his voice to Yuri Lowenthal. Well, and his costume. Like, I don't know. I just there's nothing about
Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man.
Yeah, look out.
Don't feel sympathy for it. This Spider-Man was owed to us a year ago. Like a year ago, man. A year.
And
like
Budget Spider-Man
this,
is coming later this month.
yeah, he's budget Spider-Man for sure. He's like too little, too late.
Dollar store Spider-Man.
It's a free DLC. I mean, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
If you want the good Spider-Man skin, that's where you're gonna have to pay.
I think for what it's worth is exactly it. It's worth free.
Okay, I'll take some free.
Yeah.
That being said, you definitely want to play the 2018 PlayStation Spider-Man and the Miles Morales. Those are fantastic.
Those are excellent games.
Yes.
And I think that's why seeing this version of it was
That's why it's so painful. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, okay.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's a Spider-Man game, and this is an Avengers game.
That game doesn't deserve fairness after this year.
Yeah, I don't know why you're trying to be
lost
fair.
its fairness.
You're saying that something with the Avengers name should inherently be of a lower quality than something with the Spider-Man name?
I wouldn't expect a Spider-Man in an Avengers
Spider-Man
game
is not
to
the
play
main focus.
as good as a Spider-Man in a Spider-Man game.
Yeah. He is the main focus when the development team spends a year making him. He's the main focus.
But it's just a character. He doesn't get a story, right?
Yeah, he gets a story.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You get a dumb Spider-Man story.
It'll be like
you get
2 hours of mediocre content, and then you go back to grinding.
But
that's from Dave.
Yeah.
I stole that from Dave.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be.
Well, that's the news. Take your shitty Spider-Man and leave.
Oh, so I thought you had more news. Oh yes, don't forget.
Only for PlayStation.
Only for
PlayStation.
Only.
That's not the only news, but I thought you were gonna bring up more, but we're not gonna spoil. But I don't. If for anybody who has been living under a rock, the No Way Home had some really unfortunate things leak this week.
Yeah.
That.
Oh yeah.
I have not read any of them.
Is that?
You don't even have to read anything.
You
don't have to read. It's just pictures.
Did you not?
I have not seen any of them.
It's pictures, and they say way more than 1,000 words.
Without spoiling, are you more or less excited, Dennis?
I'm zero excited for that movie. Zero. I've said this for a while now. This movie has been dissected, spoiled, and speculated for the entire year. Everything that could surprise me about this movie has been put out there on the table. If that spoils without spoiling, it's all out there, man. It's just everything. So I can't. Will I see it on the first day? Yeah, because I just don't want to I want to just see it as intended rather than how it's been shown to me this whole year.
We were talking about it before the show, but is that level of secrecy just a foregone thing at this point? Not in terms of this particular movie, but in just movies in general of this scope. There's no way.
Look at 25 other. Look at 23 other Marvel movies that aren't called Spider-Man.
Marvel. I have not been surprised by a Marvel movie.
You did not know Spider-Man was going to die in Infinity War. You did not. You did not know that.
I feel like I did.
No, you didn't know that because I was with you and I told you that was my theory. That was it.
I'm pretty sure I was there, and then Ricky had a shirt that says, "I'm pretty confident Spider-Man will not die during this movie."
Yeah.
I'm all that's really exact wording.
Literally, for me personally, I go out and I seek out spoilers. I'm that person.
Yeah, but I'm saying that Marvel proper has been better about keeping a lid sealed on those. You can wink at that, but what you've seen about the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I know what I've seen. Is there more? I've seen more stuff about this movie than I have others at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's this part of 2021, about to be 2022. You just can't keep that stuff a secret anymore.
How much of Dune was spoiled for you?
A lot came out a few months ago when those initial reviews came out, but I don't give a shit about Dune. So
it doesn't matter if you don't give a crap about it. It's still a huge blockbuster movie, and I don't think that movie was spoiled for a lot of people in the same.
I'm sure those who seeked it out, it was, but
I'm saying if it's not hitting mainstream media,
Well,
it's not. But
the
the
next-
Spider-Man stuff has.
yeah. The next Marvel movie, which is Doctor Strange, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next is so technically, we're all like, oh, that's in the next year. But if it's
I know a lot
is it
about that
March or
movie,
do they?
too.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
then
you know
There you go.
the things
I
that
don't.
they want you to know.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like it's a difference of whether or not they want you to know it versus the entire plot of that movie. You think like that's the other thing.
I have
is
a good
sometimes-
grasp on that plot of that movie.
You
But no,
think
but
you
even
do.
going to like
That's what
a
I'm saying.
Batman,
How can
the
you know
Batman
that you do?
movie. I mean, how can you know that you have a good idea of what's going to be in Spider-Man? It's still going to be a surprise when you
Because
watch
I
it,
literally
feel
saw pictures. That's the difference. Is what I'm saying. You can go read what somebody speculates versus looking at straight up pictures on set.
Mm,
There's a huge difference, and we can argue about this again in a month.
okay. All right. I'll send you
Alrighty.
Doctor Strange stuff if you want it. There's pictures.
no.
Frank, any takes on spoilers?
I used to be really against them, and I used to weaponize them at one point, but
Yeah, you did.
nowadays it's not so much. And to be fair, Dennis, though, I think over the years I've told you my reasons why, and it's because other people have spoiled for me, so I had to get really dirty with my spoilers, and there was a lot of collateral damage, and I do apologize for that, but I think nowadays, like, we're so old that we've seen, well, with the exception of Ricky, 3 out of 4 of us are so old that we've seen all the movies, we know all the gimmicks. Like, it's very rare that we're going to get surprised when we go to a movie.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
I mean,
But by the way, since you brought it up, last week when the Eternals, when we were going to talk about it, I was mentioning to Lindsay, hey, we're not gonna, don't worry, we're not gonna spoil it because Frank didn't see it yet, and she was like, you should spoil it for Frank.
Damn.
one little side
So-
tangent about spoilers.
I was gonna say, did I spoil something for her back in the day?
It was that time where you went and saw Avengers with us, and then the next day you went to work,
Yeah.
and you wrote on a giant whiteboard for everybody to see. You just wrote Thanos. Like
That's their bad. They should
That's
not.
pretty good.
The parties involved should not have spoiled the game.
Oh,
Bioshock
there it
Infinite.
is.
remembering when Frank had a sign about Snape killing Dumbledore outside of the entrance to our office. Oh
Yeah,
man.
that was just in jest.
Oh, in jest.
That was just horsing around.
Yeah. But yeah.
Actually, by that point, we were already on the 7th book, and the only reason I did that was just to f around.
Like, if you're watching the movies past that point, you know the ending of that book or that movie, right?
No,
I don't
he
know
was
that-
spoiling. He was spoiling the book.
Oh, okay.
I was spoiling the book. Yeah, I was.
Okay.
He was
being-
spoiling the book.
The,
not
the movies.
not the
I don't
movie.
think they were on like what 4, 2, 3. I don't know. You're you're a monster. Not to come drop buttons.
Monster.
No, but that one was because like I was talking about it with the twins. I was talking about Harry Potter with the twins, and then I said something, and then Bill was all like, he hadn't read the 6th one yet, and then so I put that sign up in as a joke because I'd already the damage was done. But they were on the 7th book. If you didn't know by then, you weren't gonna know.
I would do something similar at my high school for video games. So I knew that, like, when a video game was about to come out, it would usually about a week and a half or 2 weeks before launch. You could go on YouTube and find like the entire cutscene spoilers because
yeah.
Copies were getting out through like a GameStop, backdoor, like rental companies. And I would watch all those videos and know all the stories, and then I would go around school.
This is how we lose fans right here.
Spoiling.
You're gonna
Like, I
hate it.
spoiled Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for everybody. Like, those hot Call of Duty spoilers, like Halo Reach spoilers and shit. Like, it was. I was
Halo
known for
Reach
doing
spoilers.
It's a
prequel. We knew they're all
very,
gonna die.
I'm interesting when it comes to spoilers. Like, I can take them sometimes. Like, it's my choice. Like when I see them, but I preserve them from my wife as much as possible. Like, I'll let her know that they exist, but I won't tell her what they are at all because I enjoy watching somebody have fresh eyes when they see a movie, and so because I wish I could have that sometimes, but it is
Mhm.
hard now that I interact with Ricky every week.
Don't put it all on me. Like I'm the reason.
You literally post them all the time.
In the spoiler channel in our chat.
You are the reason, though. Like you are.
You're the reason for the spoiler channel.
The spoiler channel that we were using to discuss Eternals, and then all of a sudden, here's pictures.
To be fair, everyone has a different definition of what a spoiler is. If it's
we are not getting into that discussion.
If it's appeared in a trailer,
we have had that discussion so many times.
No,
but I would say, like, I agree that we don't get surprised very much anymore. The last time that I can remember being like jaw-dropping surprised was watching WandaVision. When Evan Peters showed up as Quicksilver, and I actually went, ah! I actually made a sound, which I can't even remember the last time I made a sound. I was thinking I was with somebody, so it wasn't as embarrassing. But that was a surprise, and that felt so good. I'm like, wow, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, it was cool. But I'm gonna move us along here because I'm getting enraged at Ricky.
Okay,
and we're gonna click this button. It's time for our new official segment, which we're technically also ripping off of other things. We're calling it Contest of Champions, and it's where we play games of a trivia nature every week, and they're also superhero type. This time, Frank has prepared something for us, and I don't know if Frank. Oh yeah, it's called the Untitled Frank Game.
The Untitled Frank Game, guys. Welcome to the Untitled Frank Game.
Untitled, uncensored.
Untitled, uncensored, and live. So what I'm going to do is you guys get a choice between each person goes. We're not going to just do some crazy shouting out kind of thing. Each person, or I'm going to play a song. No, hold on. Let me start from the beginning. Okay, one person's going to have a turn, and I'm going to play a song for them. Their choice of MCU, General Marvel, DC, or other comic book, and it's going to be a piano version of that song, so it's not going to be the exact same song that you would hear, and it could be from the score or it could be from a hit song that was featured on the soundtrack.
And do we just have to guess the movie or the title or whatever?
And you have to guess the movie, and I'll give you one. You'll get 1 point for MCU because that's probably something that we're all going to get because it's pretty stuck in our head. You'll get.
Is it movie or property?
Property, because I will use TV shows or animated series. You'll get 1 point for regular Marvel, or I'm sorry, 1 point for MCU, 2 points for Marvel, 3 for DC, and 4 for the others because the others are a little harder.
And the audience is welcome to participate and help us too.
Yeah, the audience is welcome to participate.
Suddenly very nervous.
All right, so we should let Clarke go first then, right?
Yep, Clarke.
Yeah.
You may go first. What do you want? DC, huh?
Oh, get that trash out of here.
Let's start you off with the DC. Oh, I got to share.
We didn't talk about Stan Lee, just to have some DC on here.
This is so going to be one of the shows that I don't watch.
Yeah. Let me
all right.
Stargirl.
I'm going to do a test real quick before we start, Clarke.
Okay.
You guys hear that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. You can have it like this, Ricky, so that
that's
all
not
right.
DC.
No, it's not. All right. Clarke, you are up, and here's your song. I'm going to play 20 seconds of it, or unless you guess it before. All right.
This is can we help Clarke out?
No.
Oh, okay.
We can listen to it.
I'll let you steal. I'll let you steal if Clarke can't get it.
I'll let Ricky steal because I think I know it too, but I'm gonna let Ricky if Clarke can't get it.
This is Man of Steel, isn't it?
Damn! Why are you stealing from Clarke?
Right?
You could steal if Clarke can't get it.
Oh, Clarke has to have a chance.
Yeah.
I thought he did have a chance.
Here you go, Clarke.
Then I would guess Man of Steel. Oh no, there we go.
All right, Clarke, what do you think?
That was surprisingly hard on piano.
Yeah, I miscued it, and that's kind of my fault. So that's why I gave you I gave you 20 more seconds.
Okay.
I'll give you those 20 seconds again.
So I was got a little mix up there.
Yeah, is it Arrow?
That is not Arrow.
Not
No.
Arrow. All
Okay.
right. Who's next? So they could steal it. I guess I'll go alphabetically. No, wait.
No, I mean I got my Man of Steel, but I don't think that's Man of Steel anymore.
All right. Dennis, can you steal?
No, I don't know what that is.
No? Oh, that's here. Let me go back. My name is Barry Allen, and I'm the fastest man alive.
Oh, it's The Flash.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
okay. It's not sharing through the window. I think it's coming through, or is it? Or is it
Just
just
coming
like?
through.
Is it? Is
Okay.
it coming through for everyone?
Yeah, it's just kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave
All
got
right,
it.
I hear
Dave
it now.
got it. Dave got it.
Dave did get it. Good
Mhm.
job, Dave. He got
Wow.
it. The Flash.
All
All right.
3 points for Dave.
I'm
I'll,
gonna
Is
put
that
Dave on the
show? Is
board.
that show canceled? No.
No.
Why?
No.
No, they canceled Arrow.
They ended Arrow.
Okay, same thing. Mhm.
It got
All
a
right.
it got a finale. It got an
Dave.
actual ending.
Dave has 3 points right now.
All right,
All right.
who's next?
Dennis or Ricky?
Ricky, you go.
I'll
Ricky, go. MCU, Marvel, DC, or other.
MCU because I want to look smart.
All right.
See, he says it's a bit quiet for us, so if you can turn it up at all, Frank.
Yeah, I can turn it up. All right, here you go, Ricky.
You're doing
Here we
you're
go.
doing Marvel,
Yeah, he's doing Marvel.
MCU or Marvel?
Wait,
MCU.
MCU or Marvel?
MCU.
He said MCU.
MCU. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully this isn't too loud.
Oh, I know that one. Steel.
Oh, it's Captain America. Yeah, duh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird on the piano.
Yeah, the piano makes it a little funky.
But
takes
you know,
a
of course, I knew that one in like 3 notes. I should have done MCU.
minute. It's weird.
Yeah, but
That's one of my favorite themes.
oh, it's a great theme. I love
All right.
Celeste.
I'll do
Yeah.
other comic book.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
You got a brave
I wanted to
one
be
here.
ambitious with the DC. This is good.
All right, Dennis, you ready?
Vampirella.
Do it. Is it The Mask?
Yeah, nice.
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 I don't think I've ever seen that movie through and through.
Oh
5
my
points.
God.
for Dennis. That's going to be the next one on the watch list. I feel
Dave-
like.
That's a good one.
Is
Dave approves
that
of volume.
that's what put
I'll
Cameron
volume
Diaz
that.
on the map, right? That movie.
Yep.
I think
Absolutely.
yeah, it was introducing.
That
right?
was her first movie.
Okay.
All right,
Do we want to do another round or do we want to keep going?
up to you
All right,
guys.
we're moving on.
One more round. One more round.
All right,
more round?
Clark, you get a redemption.
All right, give me an MCU.
MCU.
Yep.
All right.
Now I won't get this one.
Let's see.
Oh, come on.
I know it. I know it.
No, Clark.
Is this
All right.
Doctor Strange?
No.
No.
It's Loki.
Yeah, Dennis got it.
Yep.
Dennis, you get the
Rick-
one
no,
one point.
Ricky had it too. He had the Loki figure on the screen.
Oh, okay. I'm giving it to Ricky then.
We both get it. We both get it. We both get it.
Okay,
That was one of my favorite themes from the year.
Yeah,
make
that
it
one
fair. I'll
had-
split up the points so you guys get each 0.5.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Ricky, you're up.
Well, let's do DC then. I'll mix it up
DC?
again. Yeah.
All right.
I like Sam's theme. That's probably my favorite Disney Plus theme. Batman. No. This is Man of Steel. No.
The patience on this kid.
I have no idea. It's like a birthday song?
Dennis, can you steal? Give you 10 more seconds.
It's like
Doom Patrol.
It's
No.
not. It's
no,
not Doom Patrol.
No.
It's not Doom Patrol. Oh, that hurts my ears.
Oh,
buddy.
it's Suicide Squad.
Nice.
Yeah, Suicide Squad.
Oh,
It's
it
the
is Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Nice go, Ricky. So, Ricky, you're up to 4.5 in your score. Dennis
What's
is
my
5.5. Clarke is at a 0. Dave
I'm
is
at
at
0. Yep.
Okay, then I'll take a Marvel one.
3. Marvel.
That song
Yeah.
though is a real song, right? Sorry, no. It's a cover of a song.
Ratism.
Okay.
No, it was composed for that.
For that movie? Okay.
Yeah.
A real song.
I wonder a real song.
It's like when Ricky reads a comic book and asks if that's a real character.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Daredevil.
Yep.
Yeah, Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dang.
nice.
I didn't think.
I
you'd
think
get
the
that one
shows
back
are
quick. That's
easier,
awesome.
Oh.
right?
You're gonna have to count that as MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, not yet. Not
Spoilers.
yet. I don't.
It's fine. I mean, it's still on the Wikipedia considered MCU.
Is it really?
Yeah,
It's funny.
it still is.
Not yet. It ain't. Not till Spider-Man comes out.
Well, that was fun. Or Echo, or Hawkeye.
Or Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Some of the, I had some other ones that I was gonna play, and I'm just gonna play them now, just because they were. I just knew you guys were gonna.
I literally was humming that music yesterday.
I know, and I figured you guys were gonna get that.
So yeah, I was just it got Daredevil just got stuck in my head. So
That's
it
funny.
just I get that one in my head a lot.
The third
actually.
season.
Shame on you. Should we move on? I think we should probably do the spotlight now.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Frank, for that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right, we're running a little behind on this, but it is time that we put a spotlight on what I'd like to call the not so amazing Spider-Man. We had to do it. We did the Tobey movies this year. We actually did 2 of them last week, and Clarke was here when we did Spider-Man 3
Yep.
earlier in the year.
Oh, yeah.
And we just figured, if assuming all the rumors are true, there's a good chance that they're gonna get some. Well, it's not even rumors. Jamie Foxx confirmed that he's in this movie in No Way Home.
Just Jamie Foxx.
He confirmed. Well, no, I'm saying a lot of other people have, but Jamie Foxx was the first to confirm it over a year ago.
And
So
El
that's-
Molina might be in it too. I don't know.
I'm saying from these movies.
Oh, I see.
From the Andrew Garfield movies. So we
Um,
decided it was probably a good bet to just
Felicity Jones is totally going to show up as.
Yeah,
Black
it was
Cat.
good to
EW
get
did
her-
confirm that the lizard's coming back too.
Okay.
Oh, really?
It was
Spoiler.
Okay, let me finish talking here for a second.
Let him talk. Let the man talk.
So we decided to do a revisit of the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, and directed by Mark Webb. And I know this is not necessarily fresh on everybody's minds, so I want to give you a recap of that was actually written by Columbia Pictures. I'm only going to give you the recap for the first movie, but I want you to listen to it and tell me if you hear something wrong with it. So here we go. Peter Parker is an outcast high schooler who was abandoned by his parents as a boy, leaving him to be raised by his Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Like most teenagers, Peter is trying to figure out who he is and how he got to be the person he is today. Peter is also finding his way with his first high school crush, Gwen Stacy, and together they struggle with love, commitment, and secrets. As Peter discovers a mysterious briefcase that belonged to his father, he begins a quest to understand his parents' disappearance, leading him directly to Oscorp and the lab of Dr. Kurt Connors, his father's former partner. As Spider-Man is set on a collision course with Connors' alter ego, the Lizard, Peter will make life-altering choices to use his powers and shape his destiny to become a hero. That was actually from Columbia Pictures. Did you guys notice something wrong with that?
No.
The abandoned by the parents? No.
Frank, you get a guess. You get a guess.
I get one guess. Was it the Daredevil theme song from?
That summary actually never said that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, which is the most bare minimum thing to mention in your summary.
Okay.
What do you mean? Okay.
Well,
no, he's gonna be. He's Spider-Man.
Well, to be fair, I didn't think he was very Spider-Man like in that movie. I don't think he became Spider-Man until part 2, but I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Ricky, these summaries are written for people who don't know what's going on to read the back of the box and decide if they want to see this movie.
I see a picture of the box with a Spider-Man on it.
Because the movie's called Spider-Man, but it does not say, like, Ricky, if you can't understand that this is just a simple grammatical thing, like that, like I read you the summary last week where it was very clear, based on Marvel Comics Spider-Man, Peter Parker is bitten by a radioactive spider and becomes the superhero web-slinging blah blah blah. Like that's the bare minimum. And so what I'm saying is I think it's indicative of this movie or this franchise is that they chose to gloss over the thing that probably matters most to the character and instead fluff it up with a story about a briefcase and his parents' secret past. Like, do you know?
Because you had to be different.
Well, okay. I want to address both of those because something at the beginning, is also why we have these, and I think you have to discuss the deal that Sony has with Marvel. So Sony is contractually obligated to put out a Spider-Man universe movie every so many years, otherwise they lose the license.
Yeah.
So the question immediately was, why are you rebooting already? And then same thing when Tom Holland came out, there was a question, why are you rebooting the third time? They're going to keep rebooting as much as they need because they don't want to lose the characters. So these two were rushed, and in their desire, and we're going to, I know, get into that in the discussion of 2 to build their own universe because this is after Iron Man. So this is
the Avengers.
This is after,
by the way, feel free. We don't have to wait for do one movie and then the other.
That's so true.
We can
put them together.
Just do both. It's fine.
Yeah,
like, we can talk about the
We're
pros
doing
and
both.
cons.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're both. They're
this
both.
Movie is
they're
a month or 2 months after Avengers, right?
It's a couple months after Avengers. Yeah.
So
the first movie is
the first one,
and then the second one is 2014.
Yeah.
Which is when they had really seen how popular Avengers was, and that's when they really knew, oh, we need to build our own universe ourselves. The idea. So, and I think that goes to Dennis's point, how they just kind of gloss, oh, people already know, they go over stuff. So yeah, I don't know if we want to get the positives out quick and then just have fun trashing stuff, or
trash stuff until we get tired and then go to sleep.
But
I think since you're the guest, I think you should tell us what you want to talk about first about this one. I do have questions I can ask if you need help. Like, for example, like you kind of answered what, the why this movie exists, but like, I'm kind of curious. I asked this question last week. What did this movie mean to you in 2012? And has that changed now?
Okay, good question. Andrew Garfield is the Timothy Dalton of Spider-Man.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
So
okay.
It's pretty good.
He didn't finish off his franchise. He's there, and yet there are parts about the movies that I do like, but there's potential that wasn't there. The first one I definitely like better than the second. The first one, I agree. Rewatching the action scenes, that was exciting. I mean, they got really good with the Lizard and Spider-Man fighting in the school. and really showing Spider-Man acting like Spider-Man, jumping up around the ceiling, going around, crawling around him. And that's just better special effects and motion capture and stuff. But it was really cool. But you had Thrasher, Skater, Peter Parker, that we had to get past.
Jock Peter Parker.
Yeah, Jock Peter Parker. And Andrew Garfield, he's not a bad looking guy.
He had just come off the Social Network, mind you.
This is also like the She's All That of Spider-Man.
That's something I wanted to bring up too, but I'll wait till you finish your point.
Yeah, but also I know this is a little different, but I love Emma Stone, and I love Emma Stone's Gwen better than Mary Jane from the first three. However, it's like by choosing Gwen, knowing exactly where they're going to go, I'm like, okay, this is great. It's really nice and romantic, but she's going to die. And, that's spoilers for anybody who reads the comics. We know this ain't going anywhere.
I didn't put spoiler warnings on this week or last week's episode because it's like, come on. Man.
Come on. This is
You want that though.
But the death of Gwen Stacy, is a major point in Spider-Man's life. And so when they went back before Mary Jane, it was interesting. Yeah.
Lindsay is quite the hater of Kristen Dunst, just so you know. So
okay. Well, I'm with you, Lindsay. But yeah, Emma Stone's fantastic in these. I really enjoy. She's one of my favorite parts, of it. But Andrew Garfield, there are times where I like him. There's other times that I don't. But I didn't like the skater jock, aspect. But I really liked seeing Flash, them showing Flash kind of change as he sort of does to like, okay, I was a jerk. Now I'm a Spider-Man fan. I like that aspect.
We actually had this conversation the other day with Frank and Ricky, and it was awkward because Ricky was accusing this Flash of getting canceled for what he does, and I was like, they would all get canceled. All Flashes.
Ricky is a big Flash apologist that we
and
I stand with Flash.
And then he made it weird because he started defending the Flash from Homecoming, and I was like, Frank and I were both like, no. The point of Flash is you don't defend Flash Thompson ever in any version. But they're all worthy of getting canceled. But to Clark's point, I felt like the Flash in The Amazing Spider-Man actually had the biggest character arc of all the Flashes.
Absolutely.
To the point where he actually was kind of nice by the end of the movie. I thought that was cool. I appreciated that.
I agree.
I totally agree.
I wanted to bring up in Clark's point was that I don't understand what people were thinking in that school where they're like, oh, there's that hot Peter Parker. F that nerd, stupid nerd. I hate that hot Peter Parker. And then that one guy that was totally uninvolved with that fight just kicks Peter's camera out of the way. And I'm all like, damn, what a jerk. He's a worse villain than Flash.
As a hot nerd, I can totally relate to that, Peter Parker.
You can agree with that? All right.
I have no problem with it. I can understand how hard it must have been for you three. But I get it.
Immediately, one thing that I did like was that his eyes are brown. I always that's the one dig, one of the main digs that I had against Toby initially was that his eyes were blue, and I hated that. I couldn't come to terms with that for several years. I know, I was body shaming the blue eyes. How dare he? How dare he? They have contact lenses to hide that imperfection in eye color.
I'll say this: these are good Spider-Man, Peter Parker movies. Where these movies fail and ultimately lose out is when they start adding all the auxiliary shit that comes with Spider-Man. They really were trying to force that a little bit into one, and then two just goes off the rails with all the other Spider-Man-isms.
They have so much in that
without really establishing or getting your footing for the Spider-Man. If the second movie was just about the death of Gwen Stacy, that movie would have been a great movie. Because then from there you can do all this other crazy Spider-Man shit, but you have the base Spider-Man to work with. They were trying to build too much out of all these movies, and that's where it just collapsed like a deck of House of Cards.
Well, I mean, the first movie has like, it has the lizard, and then it has this other plot point with, Peter trying to find out what his dad was up to,
I
right?
mean, Norman's also involved.
No,
the
Norman's not. Norman's not.
the first- the first-
only
the first one.
named. Norman's
Yeah.
named, but he's
Norman's
not.
not.
in
He's
it.
not in.
Norman's like the overarching thing that's the reason why the lizard is rushing these trials.
Yeah, but we don't know that. We don't know that
We don't.
yet.
That's
We-
not
we-
something you learn until the second.
we just
movie.
know the
No,
lizard-
you learned that in the first one.
You learned in the
because
first
the
one.
guy
Well,
says Norman's dying.
at the end,
Yeah.
right? At the
That's
end.
no,
No,
it's in the middle.
No, it's in
Oh,
the
okay.
middle. But
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But the
But
point is, like,
it's a
you don't
small
really
point,
know what his
yeah.
real motives are,
Right.
And we do know it's his office building, but we don't know why he's there. Or
Yeah.
what
He's not a bad guy in
after,
the first
what he's trying to do. Yeah, and we don't know that him and Harry are apparently best friends forever.
No, that came out of nowhere.
They're BFFs, hugging and stuff, and like talking
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, wow.
So
Okay.
you know what? I asked Lindsay about this one because, like, I had the benefit of watching this with her this week. It was her first viewing ever.
Ever.
And I think, Frank,
Both
it
of
was
them?
your wife. Your wife's no, she's seen the first one,
She's seen the
but
first
the second one she'd never seen it, and
Okay.
so it was funny because she didn't watch the first one with me this week, but she watched it with me back in 2012. And then it was really funny because when we were watching the second one, and all these, like, as Ricky put, all these auxiliary characters start showing up, she started asking me, she's like, did we meet these characters before? And I'm like, no, we met none of these characters before. Like, we never met Norman, we never met Harry, we never met Felicia, we never met Max, we never met
Get BJ
Dr.
Novak in there.
Dr. Kafka. Yeah, we never met Alistair Smythe.
Alistair Smythe, yeah. That's right.
We never met 90% of the characters in that movie. We
Felicia
never met them
Hardy?
before. I
You
said
said
Felicia.
Felicia.
Oh,
I said
sorry.
Felicia. Yeah.
But that's one thing I do like, that they didn't kind of retread over itself. Like, the only retread is Curtis Connors.
Mhm.
I think that's the only.
And they re-show us the scene of Peter's parents' office being.
No.
ransacked.
I'm talking about no. I was just talking about like the side characters. Like, we didn't double up on like Jay Jonah, or we didn't double.
Oh,
up
gotcha.
On,
Yeah.
No, they're all new. Yeah,
The Rhino.
But
The
them
Rhino.
being
I
that
thought
many new
Shailene
characters.
Woodley was in that movie.
yeah.
She
as
was
MJ.
she was cast as MJ. Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
they were gonna do Big
Big
Wheel.
cut.
Like, Big Wheel was gonna be a villain in that. And I'm all like, wow, you're really gonna shove it all in there.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dennis. You were making a point.
But what I was gonna point out, like, is something I noticed while I was watching these and last week, is we can hate on them all we want, like for the Toby ones and the Amazing Spider-Man. But you know what's really weird is there is a common bond. Kevin Feige was executive producer on 4 out of 5 of these movies.
Mhm.
He was there on all the Tobys, and he was there on Amazing Spider-Man. And for whatever reason, on Amazing Spider-Man 2, he dipped out, or he just couldn't be.
No, but I read he
part
gave
of
them
that.
notes. though.
Actually,
He gave them.
yeah.
He told them to cut out like the weird.
And Amy Pascal threw a sandwich at him. I'm actually reading the book that's in right now. I bought the book. It's really, really good. The Making of the Marvel Universe,
Right.
or
That's
the Making of the MCU.
MCU,
Yeah.
yeah.
He actually told them to cut out the scene where he is going through his costumes and he's all like Captain Kill, and it's all he's all like Shocky guy, and it, bring, it does that whole crazy apartment scene. Like, he told them to cut that out to make it tighter. He's all like, pick 2 or 3 plot threads that you like and stick with them, and then they for whatever reason they're all like, nah, let's go with 200 plot points and
Yeah.
Where were
Some-
these movies in relation to the Sony hack?
I think
They
it's
were
Something
before-
happened
this-
after.
They
this
were
one was
before.
right.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
before. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting on rewatching this that I had read is how Sally Field hated playing Aunt May.
Yeah, did you see that with
Yeah.
the Howard Stern interview? Is that what
Mhm.
you're, yeah.
And watching them now, I understand more, because Aunt May is very just damsel in distress, especially in the first one.
I don't
She's
know,
just
I don't know
kind
if
of
she's damsel in distress, but she
Well,
is a
I-
very wasted character.
yes. And then like even and then the second, I'm like, but wait a minute, if I remember correctly, in the second, doesn't she have a more active role? I'm like, no, like a lot of it is it's really like she's trying to.
Where do I
second
put
time.
this thing during the outage? I don't.
Yes,
Do I put
Where's
the
this
battery
thing
here for you
go?
guys? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, again, that is a waste of a character, and also lack of respect, because she doesn't get. She makes the point. She's like, hey, I'm the last one raising you. I'm trying my best, and Peter's disrespecting. I'm like, again, that's another check for Ricky's cancel Peter.
That's a good cancel Peter chart.
Yeah, we were talking about how shitty this Peter is in this movie.
Yeah, we're canceling him for every second. But
Okay,
I like
well,
Aunt May and the Untold Tales of the Washer Machine. Like that whole scene should have been just cut out. Like it felt like it went on for like 20 minutes. Like I had gotten up and gotten a snack and sat back down, and they were still arguing about the washer machine.
So I got to ask this one because like I know my opinion definitely changed this week versus when I first watched these movies. But how did this hold up through the lens of 2021? And you guys you were about to touch on that, like who gets canceled and stuff
Peter?
like that.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I mean, we were joking that
I don't think the first one holds up as well. I think the second one holds up a little bit better, and maybe because it's 2014. But he's still a horny monster. Like
I'm not gonna lie, Clarke. I definitely agree that the second one has grown significantly in my estimation of it. Like I actually did not mind it this time. Like which I hated this movie actively. I never watched the second one again since I saw it in the theaters for free. I've never watched it again.
I was the same way, except the opposite. Like the first one I hadn't seen since I had watched it in the theaters, and I hated it. And every time I passed by it at like Best Buy or something, I would turn the cover backwards. Each and every cover on the standee, I would turn it backwards. But I enjoyed the second one, and now this time around, I like the first one a little more and the second one a little less. So it's kind of evened out.
Yeah, for me it's the reverse. I like the first one a little less, and I like the second one about 1,000,000 times more.
And Ian, I was just about to get into that.
Even with all the Jamie Foxx, and I think that's
Jamie Foxx is fine in that movie.
Yeah, I think that's the thing right there,
not his
Ricky.
fault.
No, I'm not. I actually don't disagree with Ricky on this. Jamie Foxx is slightly annoying at the beginning, but in reality, like he's not in a lot of the movie. He's really not, and he's serviceable as a side villain. You know what I mean? He's not the main villain of the story. He gets some moments. And is his tooth gap stupid? Yeah, it is. But like honestly, is his character really any different than Kristen Wiig's in Wonder Woman 84? Like it's not that.
No.
It's not that different of a character. And I if anything, obviously I think Kristen Wiig played it better, but I just don't think what was left on in the film is very representative of a bad Jamie Foxx performance. It's just kind of mediocre,
No, by that point we'd already had more besides Kristen Wiig. We've already had Jim Carrey as Edward Nygma. We've already had Pamela Isley as freaking Poison Ivy in the Joel Schumacher Batman. So that archetype has already been done.
And that's why I don't blame Jamie Foxx at all. I blame the writers. I blame Akiva Goldsmith. And because Maxwell Dillon.
I thought it's Alex Kurtzman and
Is it Alex Kurtzman
or Roberto Orci, the guys who brought you the Star Trek reboots and the Transformers.
You let Clarke blame whoever he wants.
Yeah.
If he wants to blame, I blame Alan Silvestri for that.
Okay, that's fair. But like even that very first scene where he's walking with all the blueprints, and I'm like, really? You don't know how to roll multiple blueprints into one blueprint? You got to walk with all of them so you can't say, "Excuse me, blueprints coming through."
Don't blueprint shame this guy.
I will blueprint shame because that was dumb, and I never liked that part.
But is it really a character fault, like that he dropped blueprints? I mean, I don't know. Like
it's a character fault that he didn't roll them all up in one and put them in a cardboard. with the little topper thing.
Shaming him because he couldn't afford a poster tube.
I just feel like I feel like
No.
we can nitpick
But,
Jamie
okay.
Foxx all day. We could.
No. Again, no. It's the character, not Jamie Foxx. I mean, he portrayed
Sorry,
that.
I mean Max
No, wait.
Dillon. I mean
Yes.
Max Dillon.
I mean, so it is that archetype of the pathetic. It goes from the pathetic to having power, and then resenting the people that he feels look down on him when he was pathetic, and that's why I really like the examples that you just gave, because that's true. It is absolutely a villain archetype that's been through so many movies, and so yeah, watching it this time, I was trying to look, and I liked him better when he became Electro, which was there, but it was. I mean, the original origin is he's an electric line worker who's working the lines when he gets struck by lightning and is mutated. Is that bit different from falling into a pit of eels? You know,
It's all ridiculous.
It's all ridiculous. Yeah. What was his origin in Ultimate? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But
it's kind of like the thing is going from a criminal to getting superpowers to having somebody who was just kind of pathetic, but then making the wrong decisions to become a supervillain. And I think those are two different kind of characters.
I really liked his little intro, like when they're in Times Square and he's freaking out.
Yeah,
I really liked that bit. I loved
I like that scene a lot.
His, I like his score. I forgot about that, and like the voices in the head, and the Spider-Man in that situation is working with the police, paying dividends from the trust he kind of earned with the city from the first movie. And it's ultimately the police who fuck up in that situation, and that kind of spins Electro on his evil path. But that whole interaction, I thought it was fine. Like that worked for me. That was all comic book stuff right there.
I'm not gonna lie, I hated it when I saw it in 2014. That was probably one of my favorite scenes rewatching it this week.
The Times Square one?
The Times Square scene was excellent because it got to show it like a Spider-Man that I love, which is a Spider-Man that will try to resort to relating to somebody and talking them down before the fisticuffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like he recognized, like he even had a genuine connection with this pan. You remembered him. You remembered him by name. You know what I mean? And that was awesome.
What he told him, that weird thing that he told him that he never told anybody else in any movie ever.
Yeah.
Like that was like super weird. That was a super weird thing to remember, I think.
I agree with this statement, Lindsay. I am like it's I did not like the implied narrative about mental illness. I hope Marvel does better with Moon Knight. Okay, so am I saying that Electro is amazing? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm not faulting him or putting the burden of like this movie being bad on him anymore, because I think for his purpose in the movie, he serves it fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? He doesn't get like a full arc that's really rewarding.
I don't think I've ever agreed with Dennis, or Dennis has ever agreed with me more on this show.
Yeah, this is disgusting, and I don't like it.
Who knew Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2 would be the?
I kind of liked him. I was like, you know what? If I can find a place in my heart for, like, I will defend Batman Forever to the grave. I will never stop defending Batman Forever. If I can be okay with Batman Forever, why can't I be okay with this Electro? He's camp. He's all the camp. You know what I mean?
What was really funny about it is Sarah had seen the first one, but she hadn't seen the second one. And we were watching it, and she didn't know anyone's name. She didn't know who they're going to be. And I'm all like, well, who do you think he's going to be? And she's all like, I don't know, Dubstep Electro, Carmen Electro. Like, she was like making up weird names for him. I think it was like, one was like Power Wave or like Black Lightning. And like, she was just coming up with all kinds of names for this guy. And then same with the Rhino. She was all like, oh, that's going to be Unicorn Man, or I don't know. She came up with a bunch of weird ones, but I thought that was really funny for someone who'd never seen it. But one of the things that I actually wanted to bring up was the camera, the camera angles when web swinging.
Yeah,
I think the Toby
like the chest cam
or the gold standard. Now I call them the hardcore Henry cams based on that movie. So in the first one, I hated that. I thought the first person ones were the worst ones ever.
I thought they were so awesome.
I hated them, but I like this. I think the second one's really made up for them. I like the softcore Henry cams where you can see kind of his body and his movements as he's doing it, and then it spins around to actually show like his the poses from the comics.
They made Lindsay nauseous in the second.
Again, the intro from 2 is great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Him falling down and the logo appears in the back.
Not so much the airplane scene. Not
Except what always bugs me is what's he falling from?
You know, when I played that game, I fell from all manner of buildings.
I know.
I had to make deals with the Crane Guild in order to allow me to get up the cranes and then fall to my death.
Yeah, I think that as much as the swinging is really cool in both of these movies, I felt like it was more like the video games. I will say, like, and the action is cool. I gotta say though, like, it's kind of disappointing that the special effects didn't feel better than the Toby ones. You know what I mean? Like, and they didn't feel on par with other movies that we were getting at that time. So, like, the thing that really kills this the first movie for me is the lizard. Like, I can't look at him.
Oh, he's
like,
such a bad design.
Like, he just looks bad. And to know that the Hulk was in theaters in the same year as that is just really depressing.
Do you think they took out the snout because they wanted him to emote better? Or?
Yes, they did that. That was a discussion which I remember when the first pictures of him came out, because people were like, why'd they do it? And they wanted him to look more human, which is the same problem of why Spider-Man keeps taking his mask off, which he still does in this one, where he's running, he's walking down the street, but he still takes his mask off so you can see how concerned he is.
Yeah.
You know,
how great is that bridge scene when he takes his mask off for that kid?
Yes, but that had context.
Not at all.
I loved it. It had context. I thought between both movies, you got some really some of my favorite Spider-Man scenes that I've ever seen on screen. And I definitely enjoyed that. That was one of them. I also enjoyed when he saves the little boy from the bullies in the second movie. And I also, like we said, I also really liked when he talked down Electro in Times Square. Yeah. Like, he's got some of my favorite Spider-Man moments ever. And also he talks like a New Yorker. Like, and that amuses me because I always kind of felt like he should, right? Like, he should talk like a New Yorker.
Yeah. One thing, I like the kid scene at the end with the rhino. I think that's way better than freaking summoning the lords of the cranes with their cranelings. Like, I hate that scene so much.
Well, I have a real problem with the police just letting that boy even be near.
The
scene.
Police do a lot of wrong.
That kid is Spider-Boy. That's obviously Miles Morales.
You know, Ian, you have a question for us, and I kind of feel like you're the best suited to answer the question, though.
Yeah,
which of the Spider-Man movie series has the best New York?
Well, he wants to know so that he can laugh at us when we're wrong.
I don't know, man. Spider-Man 2 had the pizza delivery sequence. That was pretty iconic.
That was something that I thought of when I was watching this about Spidey's interaction with New York. Because in Spider-Man 2, they have that scene on the subway where, you know, New York catches him and says, you know, it's okay, we'll keep your secret.
Yeah.
And then in Amazing Spider-Man 1, you have the scene that Dennis forever or that Frank forever hates with the cranes, which was New York going, this is New York.
No offense to you, though, Clarke. I know you're part of the Crane family, and I don't mean to.
I just don't like hearing you talk bad mouth all the cranes.
Every time I go to New York, the cranes always move away from me. Actually,
I honestly re-debated this. Ricky and I both debated this with Frank again this week, but like that's still one of my favorite scenes of the first movie.
It is, me too.
Because like the music,
it's New York coming together to help Spidey.
Yeah,
it's not New York coming together.
It is, Frank. Family. It doesn't matter how many people it is.
It's the Crane family.
Like, what are we going to count? It was 10 people on the subway that held him like Jesus. That's not all of New York. It's not all of New York.
No, I got you. But there was also, you're not counting the people on the bridge that were throwing shit at the Goblin. Count those guys too. Yeah, exactly. So that's still more. That's way more.
It doesn't matter how many it is.
But it's also
the rest of New York was evacuating. They were being like, these guys were putting their lives on the line to not obey the evacuation order
to get
and
overtime. He specifically said to get overtime.
he did tell them to get overtime because there's always one a-hole
It-
who won't do it unless they get overtime. All right.
And I did like that argument that you brought up. Like one guy it's just shorthand. Instead of saying like, "Hey, there's a big lizard and he's gonna put
Exactly.
lizard juice in a doomsday device," instead of saying that, it's overtime. You just get time and a half.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, fine, whatever.
It's
Right,
the best
cool.
way to get everybody on board quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the intentions
That's just good
are less
leadership right
pure.
there, Frank.
It is. It's great leadership. It's excellent leadership.
I will give the Lord of the Crane family. I'll give him credit for that little bit of leadership. I will give him that. And that little kid is the heir to the Crane family. Do you ever think of that? Like that guy, kid's gonna inherit all those cranes someday.
He's
So
the bravest kid I've ever seen.
I do have a question because, like, I know this is a little different for Clarke, but I know you watched them earlier this year. But for everybody, depending on when you rewatch the Toby ones, did rewatching those Toby ones this year change your opinion of the Andrew Garfield ones at all?
Nah. Oh no. Sorry.
Yes,
My answer is quick.
because it really showed more how spread up the relationship between Harry and Peter was in 2. Because after watching all the Tobey Maguires and having it go through all 3 movies, like, okay, so by the time Harry becomes Green Goblin on the Goblin Glider, you know, that had much more emotional impact than, you know, this one. And I looked at that even more negatively this time because I had just gone through that, you know, arc before. I'm like, wow, this is super rushed. And then, you know, then it was right after Electro died. Immediately, the Green Goblin. Okay, next villain.
Yeah, Ricky, did it change? Did it change it for you?
I'll say this: the Toby movies. When I first saw those movies as a kid, I was not watching those movies for a story. I was watching those movies because it had a Spider-Man in it. Versus the Garfield movies, you know, I had just graduated high school when these movies came out. Like, I was able to comprehend the story more so than I was when the Toby movies came out. So seeing them back to back, I kind of like the Garfield ones a little bit more because I think they get a lot more right, except they make some big wrongs that kind of make them worse movies than the Toby ones in the end of the run. But there's some really good moments in those movies. Like in particular, I really love all the interactions with him and Gwen. The little hallway stuff, the dinner with her parents.
Yeah.
She's calling them during her commencement speech. Like all of that's like just great. And they're very quick moments, but all of them really hit home. Like,
yeah.
So when she dies at the end of 2, I felt, you know, you really kind of feel it, you know.
Yeah.
Now the build up to how she got up there and the shit with Harry, like that's of course all muddy, but you know, there's a good Spider-Man movie in those films for sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fully agree with Ricky on this one, but I have to say, based on some of the nitpicks I had last week of Spider-Man 2, and some just growth I've done over the years, I liked a lot more in Amazing Spider-Man than I remembered. Like specific things. Like when I watched it originally, I was very resentful of Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben. I had never watched The West Wing at the time, and Spawn had left a really, really bad taste in my mouth. Since then, being able to watch Cliff Robertson last week and then watch Martin Sheen, and watch how much time they gave Uncle Ben in that movie before he finally dies. Like he got like an hour in that movie, like where he's a pretty important. Unfortunately, he's way more important to that movie than Aunt May, which is, you know, it feels wrong. But I know, but you know, you're only going to get Martin Sheen the one time in theory, so make use of him. But I thought, like, you know, in hindsight, I was probably way too critical of him the first time around, and I kind of loved him more as Uncle Ben than I did Cliff Robertson this time around. Is he stern? Is he harsh? Yeah, but he's also a dad. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like he feels more like the actual father that has to raise Peter Parker.
You get a sense of he has the responsibility he has in raising Peter.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah, I really loved him, and like I agree with Ricky. I loved Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy like so much more now because I wasn't I didn't have the anticipation of like, ugh, when is she gonna die? This is so annoying. I can't believe you put her in this just so she could die. This time around, I just got to enjoy her for the time that I know she's there in the stories. And I loved her so much more than Kirsten Dunst. And I kind of love her more with than Zendaya right now, only because like we still don't know what the hell they're trying to do with Zendaya's MJ, right? Like it was very clear to me what they were doing with Gwen Stacy, and while I was really resentful of it back in 8 years ago or whatever, now I'm like, okay, you told that story. It was clunky because you burdened it with too much other stuff, but she was excellent. She never stopped being good through the whole movie. She was sometimes too good for some of the other
you
people
gotta
she
you gotta
scenes
like
with.
context matters with these movies, man. Like
Yeah,
when these movies came out, Spider-Man 1, a few months after Avengers. Avengers is a masterclass
yeah,
in movie making. So to have the Amazing Spider-Man come out after it and have some hiccups, it's gonna
like
put a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth,
it's like Incredible Hulk coming out between Iron Man and Dark Knight.
right? And then
So, but wait,
Amazing Spider. Well,
but I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say before you finish your thought, because it seems like we're going in a different direction. I wanted to just shit all over the relationship between Gwen and Peter because it seemed really bad. If you want to talk like the spectrum, that's their relationship because all it
It's
was
high
was them.
school.
All it was them in the hallways going.
That's high school.
Like that was their entire conversation. I can't tell you one thing they were talking about in the first Spider-Man movie. And it wasn't until the second one where Spider-Man was actually acting like Spider-Man where I actually thought that they actually had good chemistry. Because the entire first movie I'm watching, I'm all like, they don't have good chemistry. They're just mumbling and like giggling at each other and saying stupid stuff. And Peter's excessively horny. And in the second one, Peter acted like a normal
All high school.
human being, at
Do you
least.
know, like, imagine your hormones souped up on spider radioactivity. You can't imagine it.
I can't because but Peter can, and Peter showed me what spider horniness looks like.
Yeah, I didn't mind their teenage mumbling and fumbling around and being awkward and stuff. I thought it was endearing. It made me I found it more believable than anything that Toby and Kirsten Dunst ever did.
I liked how soon Gwen found out he was Spider-Man. How they didn't drag that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with more horniness, shooting a web at her and yanking her over, and then giving her
that's
a kiss.
Foreshadowing, bro. That's foreshadowing.
He's
got to shoot webs at her all like for 2 movies, so that at the end you're like,
his
whoa.
prize.
As Ian says, it was the Peter tingle.
The Peter tingle.
Yeah,
it was the old Peter tingle.
Back to my point. I was like,
yeah, sorry, Ricky. I just wanted to get in there before you switch gears on us.
Amazing Spider-Man 4 or 4. Amazing Spider-Man 2, 2014. What else came out that year? Winter Soldier and Guardians.
Was Avengers Age of Ultron not 2014?
It's 15.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. So like again, Winter Soldier, another top tier movie, Guardians on a league of its own, and then you have Amazing Spider-Man, which stumbles.
Yeah,
so.
By comparison, like and I made this argument a long time ago in defense of Amazing Spider-Man 1, and I still stand by it. If Amazing Spider-Man 1 had been the first Spider-Man movie we ever got, like 10 years earlier or whatever, people would have loved it a lot more. Like, just because, like, it's really awkward that we had to get so much rehashed story. You know what I mean? Like, and it's more awkward that you had to hold the Lizard up against Willem Dafoe's performance in the first movie, and Willem Dafoe just knocked it out of the park to the point where like Rhys Ifans, whatever, I don't even care. Like I kind of checked out in the middle when the movie shifted focus to be more about the Lizard. I was like, oh, whatever. So you guys probably picked up on little things I didn't even pay attention to because my eyes weren't even on the screen all the time.
I don't
Because I was
know.
so bored with
You
him.
didn't like the CG lizards leading him down into the sewer?
Oh, that's so funny.
I like that. I liked.
I
how
loved when he made the
webs.
web.
Yeah, he makes
Yes.
the webs and does.
No,
the
I like
thing.
when he made the web. The
That
web
was-
cool, but
I didn't like
was
the.
really
I didn't like the
Yeah.
way Lizard or Peter Parker Timmy O'Tooled his camera, and the Lizard was
Yeah.
able to figure it out. That was so stupid, and it was also stupid that Peter was all like, this one guy that has an obsession with lizards and is working with lizards is probably not the Lizard. Like that seems to be like the
And
first
then
place
Peter
that you would
has
want to check.
the fucking audacity to ask him, "Hey, if I were a lizard,
Yeah.
how would I hunt?"
No, I
Yeah,
think
how would I hunt?
that's
Yeah.
probably the most forced part of the entire movie for me is when his response is no, his question more is like how would a predator catch a reptile? And then his response is they don't. And I'm like, yeah, except for every bird ever that hunts lizards all the
that
time.
hunts
Like, you know what I
lizards.
mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's like they don't. The most lizards are the apex predator in their environments, and I'm like, a lot of lizards are, but
not
a lot
in not
are
in
not.
Tijuana. Definitely
But a
not
lot
in
are
Tijuana.
not.
They're not.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I just felt like whoever wrote that line is just like, okay, you're going a little overboard with this. But I think I also had a problem just in general with like his like as a character, you know, I always, you know, and Frank holds this one against me a lot because it's my argument, which is a superhero is as strong as the villain, right? That is presented to him, and that's a pretty weak villain because like he's not even like evil. He's like he comes from a noble place of like, hey, I want to get my arm fixed, you know, and then next thing you know, he injects this thing in him and he just goes fully crazy to the point where he's like, oh man, it totally worked on my arm. I kind of want to help all of humanity by making them all lizard
I
people
wanna
too.
force them
We
all to be
were-
lizards.
Yeah,
now.
We
That's-
were
Yeah,
we were
and it's
joking
like- Yeah. I have a
Okay.
problem calling him an evil like super villain. You know what I mean? Like is he misguided? Yeah. Is he but like remember Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, his whole gimmick when he found out that Peter was Spider-Man is I'm gonna make Peter Parker suffer.
Attack the
And-
heart.
Attack the heart. And then like I want to do that before I kill him. This lizard doesn't really care, except for the moment where he sees
won't.
Peter Parker's label on his camera. He doesn't really care about Peter Parker, and he doesn't like. He just goes about his business, and then he's mad when he stops him. You know, like
Eugenics.
Also,
Yeah, so-
he should probably put a do the little Windows key L on his computer when he leaves his secret lair because that's the most convenient screensaver I've ever seen in my life. I like to have screensavers or lock screens that tell people how to get into my computer so that they can
yeah.
access all my plans, all my nefarious plans.
Was
But
it?
anyways,
Was this clear on this? If this Dr. Connors lost his arm or was he born with that arm?
I don't know. I thought he lost it. I don't think they said though. I don't think they
I don't
specified.
think they said.
I mean,
in the comics,
I thought-
he lost it.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
super shitty right there. Like he's trying to, obviously grow his arm back, but like, bro, there's like you work for Oscorp. There's other ways to get a robo arm there.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw in the
I think-
basement of secrets they have 4 robo arms that he.
Yeah.
There you go. There they are right there.
Ricky, I think it has to be a lost arm because like a lizard grows back something they lose, right?
Yeah,
You know what
okay.
No,
I mean? Like,
I think
yeah.
Ricky's
Yeah.
saying that he can make do with other. Like he can have
Oh.
different kinds of arms.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. Like, I think the whole point of Connors has
Versus
to be
being
that
born
he's
without it.
Yeah, if
an
you're
arm.
born without it, you might not have the. It
Oh,
might
I
not
see, I
just
see.
be written into your DNA to grow that. To grow that part.
yeah.
I think
Uh,
I'm gonna call it the basement of beginnings. Actually, basement of beginnings, subway of secrets.
Yeah, I like
What
these
was
from the beginnings. It's
The,
good.
the hologram table, the hologram table of secrets. No,
I
See,
need
what
I need
Sony
to wrap
wants to call it is Chamber of Franchises.
the hologram table of franchises. I like that. And then Aunt
I-
May's Untold Tales of the Washer Machine.
we can talk all about your fun names that you have for that basement in the soapbox.
Okay,
But I do want to wrap this up pretty soon. We're a little over,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I do have to ask one last question for everybody, just because I asked it last week, and I think it's fair game for this week, because I think your answers are going to be different this week than they were last week. assuming Andrew Garfield returns in No Way Home,
Okay.
what would you like to see from his character? Clarke goes first.
Clark's gonna take my answer. I know it.
Good, then we'll end sooner.
Damn it.
Where's Gwen? What would I want to see from him? I want to see him interact with the other Spideys, but like be the jokester that he was, like be the annoying, like he was the smart ass. I think of all three of them, he was written as the most as the smart ass. And so I think, having that, I mean, I do want to see all three Spideys together, partly because it's one of the few things I liked about the Clone Saga, like when they had the two Spider-Men work together. I just think it's really interesting because with their spider sense, all their tingles working together and such, and just, I want to see all three of them really show what super agility and spider fighting can do. So, but I don't really expect anything plot-wise from him. I expect just a cameo at the end.
Well, it's what you would like, not
what I would like. Okay, I would like him for the finale, but I don't want him for like the whole movie.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is Frank. He didn't steal your answer, did he?
No, heck no.
All right, you go because we'll let Ricky end on his weird millennial answer.
He's gonna say something weird. Okay. I think I'd want something in like a brotherly capacity, like a Ben Reilly capacity, because he always felt to me like the Ben Reilly to Tobey's
Spider-Man.
Peter Parker. Yeah, he was the fun Spider-Man. He was the one that kind of brought it back.
Buy you beer in the gas station.
Right.
He was the fun Spider-Man though. He
was the fun Spider-Man, and he also had the wisecracking. I didn't really like his ill-natured Spider-Man portrayal in the first one, but I thought in the second one he was the Spider-Man that I think I wanted to see.
He was pretty dialed in by that second movie, man.
Yeah. He was in the zone completely, and I want to see that. And I'd love to see them together. And I wouldn't even mind it if he was like Ben Reilly in for whatever reason, whatever contrivance they want to come up with. I'd be down with him being like a Ben Reilly in the future.
Yeah. Ricky?
I think I said it last week where I want Tobey to show MCU Peter how to be the best Peter he can be. Right. I want the Garfield to show him the best Amazing Spider-Man Peter to show MCU Peter how to be the best Spider-Man he can be.
I kind of like that
because they are, I think you can say like he's probably the best Spider-Man that we've gotten on screen. All check boxes. He's probably the best Spider-Man we got.
I think he is.
And
after you watch
to MCU's point, like MCU or Tom Holland's point, he's still growing. He's still learning how to be a Spider-Man. So to see him learn different aspects of what it means to be Peter Parker and Spider-Man from those two characters, that's where I want them to sit at.
An easy argument to be made is that he's learning to be the Iron Spider.
Okay.
Like he really is Iron Man's, sidekick in so many ways. Or protege, yeah, whatever you want to call it.
What's your take, Dennis?
Well, because I like the humor, and I kind of agree with Clarke. I don't want these things to be a big part of the story. And so, how I was saying last week, I'd like them to make that funny joke about, hey, that guy looks like the one from Social Network, and that one looks like the one from Seabiscuit and stuff. The more fun that we have with the scenes, the better. So it would be kind of fun if Andrew and Tom Holland kind of noticed that the two of them have web shooters and Tobey does not.
That's a good point.
And just made that a point of hilarity. You know what I mean? Because Tobey is gross. He's disgusting.
They in one of the leaks, supposedly that's what Andrew Garfield lips. It says something like, "So you have web blood?" Supposedly that's what he says in the leak. So I don't know.
I don't know, but
But
that's
hopefully,
what
yeah, that'd be funny.
I would like that, because I think if anything, Toby would be the butt of the joke between those two, because those two have way better senses of humor than Toby Spider-Man does, right?
And Tom Holland was all like freaked out about being impregnated by alien eggs and turned into a bug.
Yes, it's true. It is
so
true.
Like, what? Did something bite you?
Yeah.
Wait, beyond the spider? Is it alien spider?
But we can talk all about this more. I mean, I have a bunch of fun facts that I didn't even get to. I had a bunch of nitpicks and stuff, but I just enjoyed having you guys all talk about this. This was awesome. Like, Frank, you're nodding your head. I can't tell.
Oh no, I was looking at one of my notes, and it went back to the Crane Guild guy. And I was just thinking to myself, the Crane
leave my cranes alone.
No. So the Crane Guild guy like calls them, and then he's all like, "Hey, I was in the movie Soul Man. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Don't look it. It doesn't age well. Don't look it up."
Oh man, why did I ask Frank about the nod he was making? I shouldn't have done it.
Don't look at Soul Man, guys.
I'm gonna say thanks to Ricky and Frank, and especially Clarke, for joining us to talk about 2 Spider-Man movies, and for watching all these movies. Thank you so much for that. Please, Clarke, if you want to take a moment to let people know where they can find you. I think I have a little banner. Yeah, there it is.
You can look for me at SoundCloud at Crane Wave, and I can announce that I will be one of the co-hosts for Pasadena City College's coverage of the Rose Parade next year, and you will be able to view that on YouTube for free, and we'll have more data about that when we get a little closer, but it's going to be awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
and
cool.
Is it like a competitive thing? Is there the potential for like somebody to like Tanya Harding you before this moment, or is
no?
It's
pretty set. I mean,
it's
competitive parades.
Because I'm sitting down behind the desk.
Nice.
You have to do more than my knee. I guess if you Tanya Harding my throat, that would be bad. Wait, no ideas though.
I've never been to one Rose Parade.
I was making sure you don't have any hits out on you, which, by the way, is the topic of our show next week, which is Hit Monkey, airing on Hulu starting Wednesday.
You were saying Tanya Harding, and this whole time I was thinking Monica Lewinsky, and I'm all like, no. that's relevant with the throat.
No.
And
yes.
then I'm all like,
I was really sad how my joke didn't land, and it was like, it was a perfectly executed joke.
Tanya Harding.
It's okay.
Sit up.
But yes. Anyways, additionally, thank you to our patrons for supporting our growth, and to our audience for tuning in. We had a quite active audience today. It was pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
That was really fun.
If you had fun, please remember to what, Frank? What is it?
Smash that like button the way Peter Parker smashes dubstep electro.
Dubstep electro.
And leave a comment. Talk about Aunt May and the Untold Tales of the Washing Machine.
And one other thing, I think Ricky had it up there, but you can check us out on our Patreon after show, The Soapbox, where we'll be hanging out for a little while tonight and just talking about more of this and more Crane Guild and more whatever.
Oh, I've got material saved.
Yes.
Don't look up Soul Man. Don't look it up.
So yeah, thank you all for watching Den Excelsior, and have a good weekend, everybody. See you next time.